Let me ask you a question. What would you do if following Jesus meant losing fame, success, or even friendships? Would you still follow him, even if the world turned its back on you? It's easy to talk about God when life is going well, but real faith shows up when it costs you something. Today, I want to share a story about someone who chose Jesus over everything. His name is Stephen Baldwin, a successful actor who gave it all to follow Christ. The story isn't just about Stephen, it's about what it means to live with real, unshakable faith in today's world. Stephen Baldwin came from a famous family. His brothers Alec, William, and Daniel were all big names in Hollywood. He followed in their footsteps and rose to fame in the 90s, starring in movies like The Usual Suspects and Biodome. From the outside, he had everything: money, popularity, and a promising career in entertainment. But something was missing. In his heart, something no amount of fame could fill. That something came when a humble housekeeper, hired by his wife Kenya, began quietly sharing the love of Jesus. This woman didn't preach loudly. She simply lived out her faith with joy, peace, and a servant's heart. Her faith impacted Kenya so deeply that she gave her life to Jesus, and a few years later, Stephen did the same. When Stephen accepted Christ, everything in his life began to shift: his priorities, his purpose, and his direction. He made the bold decision to stop taking acting roles that conflicted with his Christian values, even when it meant saying no to big opportunities. As a result, the phone stopped ringing, the offers dried up, and many people in Hollywood walked away from him. But instead of turning back, Stephen stood firm. He said, "I'd rather have Jesus and lose the world than have the world and lose my soul." That's the kind of faith God is looking for today, faith that doesn't bend when it's tested. Jesus told us in Matthew 16:24, "If anyone wants to follow me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." Stephen Baldwin is living proof that following Jesus requires sacrifice, but it leads to something far greater than worldly success. You might not be a celebrity, but your faith matters just as much. God sees your choices, your stand, and your heart. Maybe you're afraid of what people will say if you speak up about Jesus, but remember Romans 1:16, "I am not ashamed of the gospel." Like Stephen's housekeeper, you don't have to preach to impact others, just live with kindness, humility, and faith, and people will notice. You might feel alone in your walk with Christ, but Galatians 6-9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Stephen Baldwin gave up fame, but he gained purpose, and that same purpose is available to you when you choose Jesus above everything. If this message touched your heart today, type Amen in the comments and let the world know that you are not ashamed of your faith, because Jesus is worth it.